For 1,000 years, they were the undisputed masters of the world. Their laws spanned 3 continents, and their legions were unmatched. Then, in 476 AD, the Western Roman Empire vanished, collapsing into darkness. But what if the single greatest logistical weakness of Rome had been solved 200 years earlier? The problem of distance Rome was not defeated by lack of soldiers, but a lack of speed. The fundamental struggle was distance, moving even the simplest information. A troop movement order, a food shortage report, or a message of treachery required riders traveling for weeks across their vast network of roads. When an army of Goths appeared at the Danube frontier, Rome learned about it days, sometimes weeks, too late. The empire was simply too big to govern with the speed of a horse. The Roman telegram. Our what if starts here. In 270 AD, a Roman engineer named Marcus perfects the Roman telegram, a simple, water-powered, coded signal system using mirrored towers. This system allows instantaneous two-way communication between Rome and every single outpost, from Britain to Syria. Generals can report real-time data, and emperors can issue new orders instantly. The tyranny of distance is officially over. Consequence 1. The unified military. The impact was immediate. When the Gothic tribes massed at the Danube frontier in 376 AD, a swift telegram warning reached Emperor Valens hours later, not days. Reinforcements, supplied with precise intelligence about the enemy's size and position, arrived 3 weeks earlier than they did historically. The barbarian threat was quashed before it became a crisis. Furthermore, rebellious or incompetent provincial governors, who once acted with impunity because communication was so slow, were now exposed and deposed instantly. The empire unified under a central, highly responsive command. The vast military resources once spent constantly fighting internal rebellions or reacting to old intelligence were redirected. The Roman telegram solved the greatest problem of all time: distance. With the empire unified, the resources once spent on internal wars went toward innovation. But the true, world-altering cost of this stability was not felt on the battlefield, but in the laboratory. The true cost was time itself. Consequence 2. The technological leap. The Dark Ages, that thousand-year intellectual slumber that followed the historical fall of Rome, never arrived. The seamless communication and military stability created a foundation of continuous learning. Resources that were once wasted on rebuilding shattered kingdoms were instead poured into infrastructure, public works, and science. By 1000 AD, the new Roman Empire had achieved milestones we didn't reach until the 18th century. Roman scholars, benefiting from stable, unified funding, solved complex problems in hydraulics and metallurgy. They mastered primitive forms of the printing press, not just for books, but for instantaneously replicating coded telegram manuals and engineering blueprints across the entire continent. The stable Roman currency and tax system meant the new Roman world was rich, interconnected, and technologically superior. They developed complex clockwork mechanisms, perfected centralized sanitation on a massive scale, and harnessed water power in ways the original empire could only dream of. The Renaissance, historically sparked by rediscovering old texts, was now simply the status quo. Conclusion: the eternal empire. A single invention, the simple, reliable Roman telegram, solved the tyranny of distance. It created an empire that was too connected and too stable to fail, guaranteeing thousands of years of peace and technological advancement. But at what cost? Would a unified, technologically dominant Rome have stifled the very cultural diversity and philosophical freedom that flourished in the smaller, competing kingdoms of our historical Middle Ages? Is an eternal, stable empire worth the potential loss of chaotic, disruptive innovation? Tell me in the comments. Is an eternal, stable empire worth 1,000 years of technological domination? And don't forget to like and subscribe for more historical deep dives.